Already right now already then. Oh, fucking YouTube, man. Isn't that just terrific? Well, hopefully my phone is charged quite enough to do this. I mean, I can plug it in right here, but I'm kind of bound to the fucking wall then, ain't I? Oh my goodness. What's up, everybody? John TheMorgile here. My phone died in that last one, you guys. And so, and look who I got here. Look who it is. It's Lillikens. Yay, Lillikens. Yeah. Forgive the mess here, you guys. The maid has the day off. But yeah, so my phone died right in the middle of the stream, and I was just getting into some point. I don't know. But let's see, we talked about the three. Wow, 7 of you guys already. That's amazing. Amazing. So let's see here. Of the 3 things that we talked about insofar, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we could really go on for days. I think a big one that I'll touch on, and again, we're talking about basics of flat Earth. It's not all just about proving the lack of curvature or the lack of motion. I mean, really, that should be it. Like, once you demonstrate or make a cogent case for the lack of Earth curvature and also the lack of Earth motion, once that's been done, there's not really a whole lot of further discussion or debate necessary on the end of the flat earther, man. Hang on one second, you guys. Once it's been demonstrated that there isn't any curvature and that the world is also at rest, that's kind of a done deal, isn't it? But as I said, there's way more to it. And no, we are not No, we're not stupid and crazy either. Like, this is the truth. And unfortunately, we have all been conditioned into the whole, like, full-on, wholehearted belief system that not only is the world a ball, but also anybody who considers otherwise is fucking retarded, right? I'm gonna go out back and smoke some pot on the little bit of juice I got on my phone. We're gonna make this one fast too, you guys, because it has stopped raining. It looks like. All right. Damn, this phone is really almost fucking dead again. I'm such a Riri. Okay, so a proof that my friend Jeff came up with a number of years ago. Basically, it's like seasonal variance of visible space, right? So, assuming the Earth is a ball, you would have a certain observable phenomenon of the heavens that we simply don't have in reality, right? So this would be much easier to explain with some sort of a diagram, right? But long story short, in a nutshell, if the heliocentric model was true, okay, the stars that are overhead at night on summer, okay, 6 months later, according to the heliocentric model, you should have a completely different set of stars in the winter, okay? Which is simply because of how basic reality works, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the Earth is going around the sun's in the middle of its orbit, and the summer is like facing that way at night, way off to that way. 6 months later, once the Earth has allegedly traversed around the sun and visible space is that way, you should have unique stars that are exclusive to the summer, unique stars that are exclusive to the winter. But instead, sorry, I've got cotton mouth, you guys. Instead, what we get is a situation where the same stars, the same constellations are visible night after night, year after year, during all seasons from somewhere on the Earth, thus debunking the ball Earth heliocentric theory yet again. And again, this would be an independent thing. Man, I've got cotton mouth. This farm is brought to you by Flat Earth Farms. They clarify, you'll realize the Earth's flat. Buy some for your globetrotter friends. Oh my God. I almost just fell slap off of this fucking picnic table. So there's another one, seasonal variance of visible space. I used to call it the Jaronism effect because this was something that Jaron actually came up with on his own volition as far as I could tell. I thought that was a great point. And I also personally was able to expound on that point with an entirely new standalone unique proof that as far as I could tell, I was the first one to come up with this, okay? And I'll explain it a bit. Not that that really means anything, but it's something that's kind of close to my heart because it's a proof against the ball Earth theory, or like a proof for flat Earth that I came up with, right? So that's kind of close to my heart, and it's something that I will cheerlead for probably harder than I do other elements or other proofs because again, as far as I know, this is something that is original. Okay, so I guess a bit of a diagram is in order. So that's all Keef right there. No, it's just pot, you guys. God almighty, judgy. I am going to smoke a bit, and then I'm going to have a diagram go up a bit. Shit. A bit of a diagram. Sorry, if I don't hold my phone just right, it wants to kill. But the long and short of the thing is that according to the heliocentric model, the moon is in the wrong place sometimes, you guys, and we'll explain it as best as I can with the limited diagramming capabilities I have right now. But if I can have anything to do with it before this stream is through, oh my God, my fucking phone's gonna die, dude. Hold on. My phone is seriously gonna die. I charged it for a minute, but let me see if I can get through this proof really quick. Okay. So the phases of the moon are an excellent indicator of where the moon should be physically located relative to the sun and the earth, according to the heliocentric model, right? So in other words, if the heliocentric model is true, then the phases of the moon should be able to tell us with a high degree of accuracy exactly where the moon is in that relative space, okay? So like, here, we're gonna do a diagram here. And seriously, you guys, my phone is gonna die again. I just want you to know when it does die, I will be right back. I thought that I could charge it briefly and get like 20%, but I forgot this phone's a piece of shit, man. Okay. Oh, and I have to be very careful about how I hold the phone because YouTube don't like it if you hold it a certain way. Okay, so assuming that this red cap is the sun, okay, right? And so then we'll call this stick the ecliptic plane, okay? This is going to be a really shitty diagram, but it's going to have to do, yeah. Okay. And I'm sorry, I called, yeah, that's the sun, that's the ecliptic plane. Here's going to be the earth, the moon. Wow, this is going to be such a shitty diagram, dude. And what's going to be even worse is the payoff is going to be my phone fucking dies before I get to finish it. Maybe I should just take this upstairs. Hold on. I mean, I'll smoke my drugs, smoke my pot, and then I will go upstairs. But I really need to know. Oh, it's at 6%, dude. And this motherfucker will burn through some juice. Let me telling you those. Okay. So we could still do this real quick. So, okay, looking at this little diagram here, you got, am I even close on it? Yeah, so you got the sun, the ecliptic plane, the moon, and the earth, right? So earth, moon, sun, ecliptic plane, and that's going to be the moon's plane of orbit. Oh, and it totally just killed my entire little diagram as I did it. Didn't it? Yes, it so did. So that's so not going to work, man. Isn't it so much better with diagrams? Like, I would spend so much time editing, rendering, uploading, managing the fucking the chats and everything. So much time can go into a YouTube channel, and I guess under normal circumstances, I'm beginning to hate this fucking phone. Hold on. Crazy. Yeah, YouTube won't allow you to orient the phone another way while you're streaming. Like, it's so aggravating. Like, whoever came up with that idea? Cheers. Okay, so we're going to migrate this motherfucker back inside, but I'm going to continue on with that point. It's such an important point. It is yet another globe Earth killer that is ignored in a spectacular fashion by globetards and so-called flat earthers alike. So keeping in mind the concept introduced with seasonal variance of visible space, we talked about it a minute ago. The same sort of thing should apply to the moon, right? Assuming the ball Earth theory. So like the condition of a full moon should place the moon 180 degrees opposite of the sun, right? According to the ball Earth model, the heliocentric model. The no moon condition would place the moon on the same side of the sun, on the same side of the Earth as the sun, right? And then the half moon phases would be indicative of the moon flanking the Earth on one side or the other, right? So like the moon's phases, if the heliocentric model were true, it would be super easy to either confirm or, contrarily, to debunk the globe Earth theory based on simply observing the moon, man. And one thing that I found that is absolutely shocking is once you actually apply some logical scrutiny and basic geometry to the system, to the phases of the moon and where it's at, sometimes you will see the full moon in broad daylight. Sometimes you'll see the full moon in the middle of the night. Sometimes you'll see the slight crescent moon in the middle of the night. And sometimes you'll see it in broad daylight. Sometimes the half moon phases can be seen at any odd hour of the night. There is no sort of predictable order to that thing, which you would definitely expect and which is definitely demanded by the globe Earth model, right? And so the simple fact that sometimes the moon is in the wrong place according to the heliocentric model is yet another one of these instances where the globe is absolutely dead on arrival. Let me walk through the house here. Hey, Boogaloo Spring. Oh, what a good little girl, Mimers. Okay. So, yeah, I have such bad cotton mouth, man. So the fact of the matter is, and I've done plenty of videos on this. If you've ever seen a full moon during broad daylight, that 100% debunks the heliocentric model. Because, let's see. Here. Boogaloo scram, hey baby. So, love my baby here. So, you know, man, the fact that it's not just one thing, it's not just two things, it's not just these handful of things. There are so many instances where if we apply the long overdue, healthy, skeptical criticism towards our beliefs in the spinning ball Earth, yeah, it actually falls apart. The hardest aspect of this thing is to actually get a person to consider it as a mere potentiality, right? And we've all been through it. You know, when you're first introduced to a topic, it's the stupidest thing you've ever heard. And in my opinion, it is kind of a miracle that, you know, we as a culture even woke up to this truth, right? Because they'd sort of perfected the art of tying millstones to their neck and casting themselves into the sea, right? No, they've made an art form out of deceiving the children, right? And so they sort of perfected it, and like, praise be to the Most High and to the angels of Revelation that we're even able to have this conversation, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but when I first heard about the whole flat Earth thing, I thought it was the stupidest fucking thing I'd ever heard. And I didn't even consider it for like over 6 months or a year or something like that. And it was only after I was hit by a car on my... Oh, I better plug this phone in before it really does die again. Hold on. Shit. My goodness. How? Got it. So October 10th, 2014, I was hit by a car on my motorbike. So like I was going through a green light, and the dude was coming out of the Food Lion grocery store at the red light. He was going right on red, and I was going through the green light. And instead of stopping and assessing his situation, hey, Bubba's, the dude just ran through the red light, and I saw him do this like he was going the same direction I was going ultimately when he turned right. And he just jetted out of the parking lot, you know, through the red light. And I thought he was going to hit me. And so like he just barely missed me. I was like, oh my God, I thought that dude was going to hit me. And I looked over my shoulder, and then he hit me. He like accelerated and clipped the back right of my back tire. And like I went all wonky and rolled a bit, and then broke his windshield with my face. And then, oh, it hurt so bad. I had a helmet on. And then when I rolled, it hurt so bad, dude. When I rolled, he ran over my leg, but my leg was absolutely fine. Like nothing happened to it at all. But it split the helmet, like the visor clean off. I was wearing a leather jacket. It ripped the arm clean off of the leather jacket, ripped the pant leg in two. And man, I've been hit before. Like I played football. I've been in other car accidents. I had an older brother. That was the hardest I'd ever been fucking hit. But long story short, it was right after that I had some time off and like some Percocets and stuff. And I reconsidered flat Earth. Like it had been like 6 months or a year since my buddy had, so like we had disagreements about this, that, and the other, 9/11. And then the dude had asked me, he was like, well, you're not like a flat earther or something, are you? And I was like, never even heard the term before. I was like, oh, well, goodness, baby. You know what? You okay, baby? And I was like, what is a flat earther? And he was like, well, there's actually people that think the earth's flat, right? So 6 months later, a year later, whatever, I had that motorcycle accident I was just telling y'all about. I lived, by the way, in case you were wondering. But so when I had a little bit of time off, it kind of dawned on me, and I saw there were some kind of snarky posts from flat earthers that seemed, at the time, it seemed kind of arrogant, ignorant, and also interesting, because that's ultimately what led me towards the path of going to debunk this whole flat earth mess, right? Anyway, man, to make a short story long, right? But it was at that point, I made that first Nazis of NASA in the Infinite Plane video, right? Because at that point I had not, and still to this day, like a lot of people don't talk, and boy, it's a mixed bag when you start talking about the whole Nazis guys, right? But one thing that's for sure about the Nazis is the whole Operation Paperclip thing, right? Project Paperclip, which, y'all are probably familiar, but what it was is after World War II, the United States allies and as well as the Russians, right around the time of like the Nuremberg trials, right? So while the Nazis were being tried for war crimes, the United States was essentially buying up and secretly assimilating. Hang on, I gotta put Lily down 1 second. There you go, baby. Go ahead. The Allies and the Russians were secretly assimilating Nazis into their workforce, into the upper echelons of scientific programs, NASA, propaganda. Love them or hate them, the Nazi scientists and the higher officers were highly sought after by the Allies and the Russians. And so Project Paperclip, it was like over 1,000 dudes that were Nazis, high-ranking Nazis, and they were smuggled over to the United States after World War II and given high-profile positions of the movers and shakers. They gave them new IDs, they turned them into new people, and gave them high-paying, very important jobs. And the American people were none the wiser, which I think is the most important thing, right? So like, if my grandparents, if they were still alive, or if like anybody that lived through World War II and the sort of emotional roller coaster that was that, you would know that they would be just a little bit pissed off if they knew that the United States was assimilating high Nazi scientists and engineers and that sort of thing, and putting them into our government, like into our military machine, no less. I mean, that is something that would have certainly not gone over well with the likes of my grandfather in particular, who literally went overseas and fought against the Germans and, the Nazis and the Japanese back then. So it would have pissed him off to no end. And so they did it. The CIA and the US government did Operation Paperclip and other unacknowledged programs too. So it wasn't like that was it. There was way more than just Paperclip. But they did it in secret. They did it in a clandestine way so that the American people were none the wiser, right? And again, so that's regardless of whatever your position is on the Nazis. And that is a whole nother discussion. The fact is that Operation Paperclip and similar Operation Paperclip and similar endeavors of the government actually happened, right? This is not a fucking conspiracy theory. This is not just me making something up. And so when you realize that the likes of NASA were, NASA was put into motion and set up by these Nazis. Okay, so yes, prior to NASA, you had like a precursor that didn't get anything done. But once Werner von Braun was introduced into NASA at a high level, it's like things changed almost overnight. Okay. And so, when you realize, man, that NASA has been a sort of an esoteric, occult, very shady government entity that is very much compartmentalized, and its prime directive is to deceive us and mind control us, just like any government agency is. Yeah, man, like NASA is just another one of those. Okay. And so, really even worse. Okay. If you look at the origins of NASA and like Jack Parsons, JPL, if you look at, what the astro liars are doing these days, when it comes to wealth, yes, the astro liars are very wealthy and successful in that metric, in terms of their bankroll, right? But I would argue, and I think it could be easily argued that, just financial success and one's ability to bamboozle people for billions of dollars, it is not necessarily a metric that you want to get on board with, right? And so, I spoke about this last night a little bit, but when the root of our monetary system is corrupt and evil, and has the capability to simply print as much money as it wants, so like this sort of evil demonic system can just invent wealth out of thin air, and it can fund whomever it wants. And they're not funding the likes of Mother Teresa, right? They're going to fund the likes of like the GALs. We're gonna talk all about the GALs, the Guardian Ad Litems, in a stream coming up. Not right now, not today, but there is so much injustice. There is so much evil, just pure unadulterated evil. Like look at the Jeffrey Epsteins of this world, where somehow evil has all kinds of fucking money, right? Just money coming out its ass. And whenever evil seems to get caught doing just awful, terrible things to like innocent children and stuff, a la Epstein, they get like a fucking slap on the wrist. If that, they get like Wingstop in their cell, and they get, instead of having to sit in jail for the whole time, like they get to go to work all day and then come back to jail as if it's some kind of fucking hotel. Yeah, so like that's what the rich, evil, fucking, reptilian shapeshifters get when they are absolutely preying on children with victims, right? But then, on the other hand, if you get caught fucking, wet while in the shower or high while in the tower, as a normal, not rich motherfucker, you get sent down the road, right? Let me grab my drink. Hang on, you guys. My cottonmouth is legendary right now. Oh my God. And forgive my backdrop, dude. My my maid has a day off today. Yeah, dude. So good. Damn, I need a fucking cigarette. Okay, anyways, so what was I talking about, man? So in the previous stream before my phone died, we talked about a few flat earth basics. Y'all tell me, which way do you want to go with it? Is there anything specific? And wow, I guess I probably should check in on the chat. Damn, dude. This thing keeps on coming unplugged. Sorry, y'all. My phone keeps on coming unplugged. Yeah. So what do y'all want to, I can keep going on all fucking day with some flat earth basics that are independent instances that killed the globe. I ate a glop of some hash oil. Here, let me show you. Hold on. This stream is brought to you by Flat Earth Farms in NorCal. Dang so fire, you realize the Earth's flat. Buy some for your globe-tard friends. So this is like 99% pure THC. It's just pod. It's just pod. It's hash oil. This is from Daryl over at Flat Earth Farms. But like you'll like, so here, let me show you. I'm showing you 1 second. So like that, so just a tiny little amount. Wow, that's way too much. Oh well, when in Rome, right? So like that is way a lot right there of hash oil. So again, it's just pot. And it's not CBD, it's THC, right? But for my back pains, so the accident I was mentioning a minute ago in 2014 was how I fucked up my back. Like I'm not paraplegic or anything, but I have issues with my sciatic nerve, and I have back problems, right? But this really fucking helps, and I'm not sure how far along Daryl is with like e-commerce, like web ordering and stuff, but I will tell you that the prices for very, very, very high quality mid grades, Flat Earth Farms is where it's at. Great pricing, and also it's like hybrid strains, right? So it's not like the super beautiful, like crystalline, multicolored, fruity dank, right? That's grown like indoor hydroponic hybrids. It's not like that great, right? It's one step down though. Like if I'm not mistaken, it's all that. It's just not grown hydroponically. So dude grows it outdoors, and the reason it's so fucking good too, man. The reason he's able to get away with it is because where he's at up in NorCal on, like, I guess the side of a mountain, the weather and the humidity conditions are perfect for growing dank. So the lighting and the the coldness and the day to night ratio and everything is perfect for growing dank. And you might find a seed or two in there too, because it's grown outdoors. So it's hybrid strains, right? So it's very high quality genealogy of the dank. But again, because it's grown outdoors, he's able to keep costs down, and so he's able to pass those savings on to you and me, the fucking smokers, man. And it's really good shit though, very, very good. And I would put a phone number up there, but I don't know the best one. But just look up Flat Earth Farms in NorCal. I want to say they're north of Redding in a town called Weaverville is the name of the town. Anyway, Flat Earth Farms. Oh, wow. So I lost all my viewers just mentioning the plug. Righto. So, what do y'all... let me check the doggone... sorry, y'all. I'm not really so together. I'm trying to check y'all's comments, but I'm having just issues with all that, yo. How do I check the comments is what I want to know. Do you want to stop streaming? No, I don't want to stop streaming. I just want to check the comments, fuck boy. No. Wow. What a pain in the ass. See, the problem is, you guys, if you can hear me, I just can't check the comments is all. Anyway, not that really matters, but I kind of did want to check the comments. Anyway, I mean, we can do without the comments. It's not like y'all had anything important to say, did you, YouTube? I'm sorry. No, really what it is I'm just a Riri, but like I'm just not seeing any option to go into the comments. So Anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make an executive decision, and we're going to keep going with some more globe Earth killers. So we're going to dust off some of the old brain cells that we've got left and apply them to just basic common sense stuff that we have been able to observe our entire lives. These are concepts that anyone can verify. Thanks, PJ. Yeah, it's like that. So we were talking about density and buoyancy before, and I'm not even sure that I was able to round that point off. So let us definitely loop back to that right quick. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get adjusted to where I'm not like absolutely murdering my back. And again, sorry, my maid has the day off today, man. Right. Okay, so when it comes to density and buoyancy, I think we got as far as coming to agreement that helium balloons are not anti-gravity devices, right? So what goes up must come down is definitely a thing that is not debated. That is an observable fact of nature. Only on the spinning ball Earth, or like the gravitron at the fair, do you need something like gravity to counteract the centrifugal force that would necessarily be generated by the spinning ball Earth were it only true, right? And so, man, gravity in the Einsteinian sense is the sort of warping of hypothetical non-existing space-time, right? So it's a very complicated sort of patchwork around this, again, starting with the conclusion that the Earth is a spinning ball no matter what, and any evidence to the contrary is sort of patched over with apologetics. That is the way that it's done with the ball Earth. From soup to nuts, every single time, there is no change in that. That is the way that it is. Okay, so once you realize that, and you realize that every single point that is supposedly the proofs of a ball Earth, it is just apologetics and patchwork. That it's like the fucking emperor has no clothes. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It is everywhere. It's ubiquitous. The globe is dead, right? That sort of thing. And so, yeah, man, gravity is a lie. It is one of these apologetics that, again, the concept of gravity is only necessary if you first assume that the Earth is a ball. When you realize that it is a motionless plane, infinite space does not exist, and what goes up must come down is merely a fact of nature that can be explained any number of ways, but it certainly has nothing to do with mass attracting mass because of warping of space-time. It just has nothing to do with that. If you try to demonstrate mass attracting mass because of something like gravity, you cannot actually demonstrate it in a lab. You can demonstrate things like electromagnetism all day long. Magnets are attracted to each other or repel each other depending on the polarity. And that's something that, it's scalable. It's a demonstrable fact of nature, right? When it comes to gravity, on the other hand, you can't demonstrate it anywhere. It is conspicuously lacking. And in terms of like the natural forces, you have the strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, electromagnetic, and then they say the weak force of gravity, right? But I would say, gravity is so weak, it doesn't exist, right? Because again, gravity is completely contingent upon ball Earth. If there is no curvature and the Earth is at rest, if it is in fact a stationary plane, which it is, then the need for gravity and the case for gravity goes right out the window. Gravity is dead. Okay. And this is, demonstrable across all kinds of, practical applications. Again, there is no huge discrepancy in one's weight at the equator versus the poles, right? Whereas, because, if you think about it, if you're at the equator, right, on spinning ball Earth, hypothetically going 1,000 miles an hour along that curve, you would think the more mass you add to an object, the lighter it gets, right? It should, technically things should get lighter, especially at the equator. The bigger and the more massive they are. Think about it. So, like, take 2 5-pound weights, right? So take 2 5-pound dumbbells, put one in each hand, and stretch your hands out and start to spin, right? And you'll feel this sort of outward thrust on your shoulders because of the centrifugal force with the 5-pound weights. Now, if you were to keep your RPMs, your rotations per minute, the same, and now switch those weights to 25-pound weights, so multiply the weight by 5, keep the speed the same, you're going to notice that the outward thrust increases with that mass, right? That's how centrifugal force works. When you start raising the value of some of those variables, you get an increase in the overall outward thrust, right? And so it would be no different. Like, if you think about it, objects at the equator should get heavier and heavier. I mean, lighter and lighter, because gravity isn't actually. But this is just stuff that's fun to think about. The Earth is actually not a ball. It's not spinning. Never has been. Never will. But we've all been convinced of it since we were just little kids. And what an insidious thing! Like, I'm so thirsty. I mean, that really is, oh my God, such an insidious thing too, right? Because and it's not like the teachers are doing this with angst against the children. Like, the teachers are just victims of the same system as well, right? Obviously so. I mean, perhaps maybe there's one or two teachers that are secretly laughing at deceiving the children, but I think for the most part, I think that they are all just victims of the same system and victims of the same device, right? At the top of this thing, like at the decision-making level, I'm sure there's a whole lot of ignorance, but somewhere along the lines at the very top, it is not that far-fetched to consider that the devil is sitting on the top of that power structure, right? Like, when it comes to forcing all generations of children into believing this deception, or else they're not going to, make it in school even. There's a sort of a state-sponsored reinforcement of the deception with the threat of violence, right? Essentially, I mean, if you're threatening to take away someone's livelihood and remove their capacity to succeed in school because of not jumping on board with that belief that is the ball Earth, it's fucking scary, man. Like, it is. And again, to the point, it's a miracle, in my opinion, that we even made it this far, like that the truth even came out. Because, I mean, really, like, do you know how hard it is to get someone to even consider this topic? Like, people would rather kill you, dude. Some people, like people that aren't even that passionate about science and stuff, people get so mad about certain beliefs, like their precious beliefs. I'll tell you, it's such a fun. I mean, it's a funny story, but it isn't. So when I was in Kansas, dude, my buddy, my neighbor had his brother. His brother only had one leg, I believe. He was missing a leg, right? So he couldn't walk. He had a cane. I know we watched a football game over there. I think it was a playoff game. This was a few years ago too, right? And after the football game, the discussion came up about Einstein, and the dude, I forget his name, but my neighbor's brother made the claim that Einstein invented the nuclear bomb, right? And so, we had all had a couple of beers, and so maybe I was a bit of a smart ass, but I tried to be respectful, especially to my elders, especially dude with one, missing a leg. I really don't think I said anything that far out of the way, but Einstein didn't invent shit, let alone the nuclear bomb. The guy, dude jumped out of his chair, one leg and all, and he swung his cane at me. And when he swung his cane at me, he swung it right at my fucking head. And I kind of like went back a little bit because I kind of seen it coming, but I kind of didn't. And he nicked my cheekbone right there. Man, my phone's a fucking ringing. Hold on. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to go. Oh, dude. Okay, sorry about that. So there was like, there was a car out front, and the alarm was going off, but it was not any of it. It was the neighbor's car. Anyway, so but the long story short, people are very passionate about these beliefs, even if they don't really know exactly what the fuck it is that they believe. Like, it's kind of weird when you're debating sort of the average run of the earth believer. They don't even know what they believe. They know that you're wrong. Like, they know that the flat earther is wrong, and they know ball is good, ball is right. But when it comes to understanding what the fuck ball actually is, like its dimensions, its velocities, like the dogmas of what they are supposed to believe, but they don't actually know what it is the fuck they believe. So if you're trying to have a conversation or like an argument or like a debate with somebody that doesn't even know what the fuck they believe, and it's kind of hard not to come off as like condescending and fucking facetious when you're trying to tell somebody, well, look, man, you believe that the earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour just at the equator, just from axial rotation. You believe that the earth is going around the sun at 18.5 miles per second, which is 6,600 miles an hour. That's the official velocity of the Earth's orbit around the sun. You believe that the sun is, traveling fucking 500,000 miles an hour through space. And when you start telling people like what they believe, and then you're trying to argue against them, they're going to say, well, I don't believe you. That they're going to say that they don't believe you, that's what they believe, but they don't know what they believe, but they don't believe you. And it's like, as if like, who would waste their fucking time on such a thing? Really the same question could no doubt be asked about me. Like, who would waste their time on such a thing as this, right? But on the other hand, again, in my opinion, this is it's the sort of kindling of revelation is what flat Earth is. It is the bottom of the boot of the angel of revelation, right? And so in that respect, it is supreme. It's of supreme importance, right? Like, there is nothing of more importance, at least in my opinion. It's like the most important thing fucking ever, dude. Right? And so, to waste one's time, I would say would involve things like choosing a career in law enforcement, right? Like, what a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? I wish the motherfucker would get a real job sometimes, honestly. Because I was always taught that a job should be something productive, right? So, like, you can't have a job going around breaking people's windshields, on their cars. I mean, maybe that's like an unconventional marketing strategy if you're in the business of like Safelite or whatever. If you're in the business of replacing windshields, then okay, fine. Going around breaking windshields is not a good analogy. But you get the point. Like, a job, or like even to charter a corporation or to start a business, you have to be offering something of of value, or something that is productive, right? But when it comes to the fucking cowards, what are they doing that's productive again? I would love to know, because anyone that chooses a career where you get to get up and go to work every day to keep grown men who most of which have done absolutely fucking nothing wrong, keep those grown men locked in a cage so they can't even go outside and take a piss in the fucking morning sun. Yeah, that's not a job, dude. Like, those motherfuckers should go get a real job. And anybody that chooses that career path, and by the way, my mom was a corrections officer in Seminole County Jail for like 20 something years. So it's not like, I mean, and honestly, like, I didn't really fuck with my mom for a long time, not because of that. I'm really worried about my mom right now, though. And I can tell you all about why, but I haven't spoken with her in a few years. And I think something's happened to her. I think something's happened to my mom. And I think that someone in particular is benefiting from that, right? Because just hypothetically, for example, if somebody is, like a retired military or retired corrections officer or like a retired crossing guard and stuff like that, they have retirement. And if a scandalous, shady motherfucker was to allow some form of harm to befall, I'm sorry, I've got the words caught in my mouth. Harm to befall that person, and they know enough about their identity and they know enough about their routine that they could hypothetically potentially cash in on all those retirement accounts in perpetuity, right? And so, I mean, I would hate to see or hate to think that something like that was actually going on. But in fact, that's exactly what I think is going on. And we'll get into all that later. We're not going to talk about that right now. Dude, I am so thirsty. I got to go get some tea out of the fridge. Will you guys wait here while I go get me some tea? I'll be right back, you guys. I love y'all, and sit tight. I'm coming right back. The cotton mouth is like unbearable, dude. Yeah, don't you just love my decor? The feng shui in here is fucking legendary, bro. Legendary, bro. All right, y'all. I am so back, as you can clearly see. I'm right here. And I got some tea. Good, too, man. So good. Okay. So, what the fuck was I talking about, man? Okay. So, and again, I really wish, you know what, though? I can totally get on my little trusty computer here and check the comments from Hal. How's that sound? I'm gonna do something about this fucking lighting in here too, man. Bear with me here, you guys. Bear with me, y'all. Come on, baby. And you know, until I'm able to, view and respond to your comments, don't even get me started on Polaris, right? So like, we didn't even get into the point about the moon being in the wrong place sometimes either, did we? Okay. Oh, Lily, why don't you just step right into my tea that I just poured? Almost. And she's due for a bath. Yeah, I didn't even get into the full fruition or explanation of the moon's being in the wrong place sometimes, right? So, as stated, the moon is in the wrong place sometimes, and according to the heliocentric model, I'm trying to turn this TV on. Some more. Come on, baby. Yes, indeed. If the heliocentric model was true, you would be able to predict where the moon should be based on its phases. And so, like, according to the heliocentric model, the crescent moons, either way, either waning or waxing, should be in close proximity to the sun, right? Now, the ecliptic plane, which is the plane around which the Earth allegedly orbits around the sun, is very similar, almost aligned to the moon's plane of orbit around the Earth, right? So these are all alleged planes of orbit, right? But so the moon's plane of orbit allegedly is, I think, 5 or 6 degrees offset or out of line to the Earth's ecliptic plane, right? And so for all intents and purposes, you can basically say that the moon's plane of orbit is aligned to the ecliptic plane, right? So there's not a huge divergence into a third plane, right? So you can definitely use a two-dimensional diagram in order to show what's going on with this issue, with the moon being in the wrong place sometimes, right? You don't necessarily need a 3D model to do this, okay? And what it shows is something that I remember when I was a kid. It was told to me that in Native American traditions, sort of folklore, that it was good luck, or it was like a good omen to see a full moon during the day, right? And so over the years, there's been dozens, if not scores of times that I've seen exactly that, the full moon visible in broad daylight. I've even documented and recorded instances where the full moon, it was like 96 or like 94% full moon, was, 50 degrees over the horizon, like it was like basically overhead in broad daylight, right? Which is, it's just not possible in the ball Earth theory, right? You should never see a full moon or anything remotely close to a full moon in any other quadrant of the sky than at night. Okay. Again, the full moon condition should place the moon 180 degrees opposite the sun. Okay. And the same equal and opposite, it can be truly said about the crescent moon. Okay? The crescent moon, whether it's waxing or waning, should be adjacent to the sun, basically. Okay, and anybody that has even moderately looked at the heavens at night over their lives can attest to the fact that sometimes the crescent moon is visible at night, okay, flying in the face of the basic geometry of the heliocentric model. The heliocentric model, and again, in this instance, falls apart under rational scrutiny. Now, instead of actually considering this point most globetards will refuse to consider it, refuse to understand it, and go about just hand waving and saying the flurfer is stupid and doesn't know what he's talking about. And you know what? That works because everyone knows the Earth is a spinning ball, right? Everyone knows that flurfs are stupid and they can't possibly be correct, so they're not right about this one either, right? And that's basically another instance of the conclusion with the ball Earth being drawn first and foremost, and then pesky facts that disagree with that stance are simply ignored and rejected, and apologetics and patchworks are invented whole cloth by some of the brightest names and minds in academia, and so everyone knows academicians are never wrong, dude, right? Never. Academicians are never wrong, dude. Never. Sorry, you guys. Okay, I am so totally doing something. I wanted to see y'all crazy crackers comments, man. Let me see. And also, there's sort of overarching point that I wanted to make too, but we're getting there. I'm not firing on all cylinders, you guys, but I will say that there are, right now, as we speak, decent, hardworking, loving, caring people with families and children and responsibilities and homes that are sitting, rotting away in jail right now. A lot of times for nothing burgers. And I would just ask, for a moment of silence and a prayer to all the people that are wrongfully incarcerated right now as we speak. And every second that they sit there is a fucking travesty, and I reject it. Like, I do not condone this sort of butchery, this sort of waste of valuable human resources on paperwork, right? So yeah, we're innocent until proven guilty. So innocent as fuck, dude. So fucking innocent until proven guilty, right? For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, and all those guys sitting in jail waiting for their trial is innocent until proven guilty too, man. And being locked in a cage for even just a few weeks can ruin your life. Like, and it can psychologically damage a Bama more than you would think, man. Like, even a couple of days, it's just awful, man. It is the worst. And I can definitely condone, I'll get on board with all day long, putting violent criminals, rapers, murderers, the guys that cut those tags off the couches that say do not remove under penalty of law. Yeah, those guys. But when it comes to like victimless crimes, dude, I don't know. It's hard for me to jump on that fucking bandwagon. You know what I mean? Because, victimless crimes make the person sitting in jail for nothing the victim, doesn't it? Anyway, I don't know how I got off on that tangent, man, but if I seem a bit off to you guys, it's because I sat in jail for 5 weeks for nothing. Driving under suspended license, paperwork, right? But I'm always thankful for interventions in my life. I do recognize sometimes the hand of God moves in our lives, and we don't necessarily see the immediate benefits, or we don't see the immediate plan. But I think that part of walking with faith is to understand that God, the Creator, does have a plan, and sometimes even though we don't see it, we just have to sort of relinquish the reins and let go of the reins to God and let Him do His thing. And I always say it's a good day to die anyway, because been there, done that. No, I'm really only half kidding. With that being said, being locked up for several weeks also does put a stress on your financial situation. And so, ergo, if I was up shit's river without a paddle prior to January the 6th, now, like, there's a hole in the motherfucker, and my bucket's got a hole in it, and we're out of beers, too. But so anyway, if you guys would like to support the channel effort, PayPal, Patreon, Cash App. I will try and remember to put links below, but every little bit is helpful. And you know, man, I'm still kind of getting used to sitting here by myself, man. I'm so lonely. Like, I've got roommates and everything, but you know, for those of y'all that don't know, Mina died November the 4th. So it's like, how long has it been? It's February something now. It's been 3 whole months. Is my math not math here? So like November to December, December to January, and January to February. Yeah, it's been 3 months. Dude, it feels like it's been so much longer than that. But yeah, so Mina died, and I'm still like, I'm not even really 100% come to terms with that. Like, sometimes I'll go to say some shit to her, and she's not, you know, obviously she's not here. So it makes you feel kind of stupid, but oh, so somebody's telling me that there's no comments allowed on the stream here. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Thanks, PJ. What I'm going to do is, I think I've got to stop this stream and start a new one. Because I don't think there's a way you can change that setting. So here's what I'm going to do, you guys. I'm going to start a new stream, Impromptu Part 3. I'm going to do it real quick. And y'all just join me there, okay? There's 12 of you guys, and if I don't see each and every one of you 12, there's going to be serious consequences. But okay, let me switch over, and I'll try and meet you there. Hopefully we don't lose everybody, because I still had some very important things I wanted to say. So be there or be spherical, fuckers. Love you. Love you guys very much.